Hello, everyone. Hello, Sarah Nation. Come on in. Let's talk for a little bit. Today, I am going to be talking about inflation. I'm pretty sure that you have been hearing this word a lot on the news, but I want to clarify a little bit about how to manage inflation, right? Because they're talking about what's going on, but like, how can we manage it? How can we protect ourselves from inflation? I think that is a more important question to ask and a more important answer to get, right? So my name is Sarah Xavier. I'm the creator and founder of Finance Babe. I help single and divorced women to take charge of their money so they can live their lives in their own terms. But this topic, specifically about inflation, this definitely affects everyone, right? Not just single and divorced women, although in a sense, it can affect a little bit more single and divorced women, but I will explain a little bit more that in a moment. Now, so what I'm going to be doing today is we are going to learn exactly what inflation is. We are going to learn why is this happening. We are going to learn like the step that we need to do in order to manage the inflation and protect ourselves from it. And of course, there's no way that I can teach you everything in this video today. But if you want to learn more or if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me. If you receive this recording in my email and you're part of my email list, please don't hesitate to reply to the email to support@financebabe.com. Or if you are in the stream and on any of my social media channels, make sure to put your name at the bottom and then DM me or send me a message with your email address. And then we can obviously talk a little bit more. All right. Now, when it comes to that, just let me know I will give a gift to the first 10 people that actually reach out to me. So I just want to give you that heads up. All right. So let's get started. Again, if you want to take a pen and paper, write a little bit. If not, it will be fine. But I'm really glad that you're here, and I want to answer any questions that you may have. So the first thing that I'm going to start talking about is what specifically is inflation. And inflation is the rate of increase in prices over a period of time. The consumer price index goes up overall, and the result is an increase in prices and the cost of living in a country. The reason that I say in the cost of living in a country is because this is a global issue. It's not happening only here in the United States. Now, what am I talking about? Well, for the start, inflation at the moment is between 8.9% to 11%. And what does that mean? Well, what it means is that there has been a huge increase on very basic products that we actually need and consume maybe on a daily basis. So prior to 2020 and the 4 years before that, inflation was between 2 point something to 3 point something. And right now we are at all-time highs, 40 years high. And that means that, for example, if you were getting a return on your investment of over 4%, let's say between 4 and 6%, and now inflation is 8 to 11%, that means that your dollar is worth less. And I forgot to change let me go here so you can understand. So the US dollar is worth less. So if what it was worth 100%, now it's only worth 90%, for example. And what else causes inflation? Well, when the prices start rising on the main products like food, clothing, housing, that that causes inflation as well. The other thing that causes inflation is an issue between supply and demand. When there's limited supply and there's a huge demand, that draw inflation to go up. The other thing is the production cost. So for example, if a baker wants to bake bread, but now wheat, it costs them 2 times what it was costing them before, that means that there's going to be a production cost, right, on making that bread. And so when things are up, like gas, etc., that means that there is going to be a price or a production cost. And then the last one is labor cost. So at the moment, and I will talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but there's a huge demand for people looking, employers looking for people to work. At least up to June, right, there was a huge demand. There were over 11 million jobs here in the United States, but because it has been so difficult for all of these companies to hire people, and I will explain in a moment why is that, then they have to increase the labor benefits and the labor to entice people, right, to accept a job. So that is another thing that causes inflation. Now, how did we get to this point? And I want to see. So we got to this point due to, again, the supply versus the demand. After 2 years of people being locked down, most people now want to start doing what they were not able to do before. So the demand for travel, for example, or other activities like going to eat, like going to the movies, people want to do that more. Therefore, there's more money circulating around, right? And then more people want to buy houses because the interest rates were low, but there was a low inventory. So that means that a lot of people, there was a high demand for all of these things, but there was very low inventory. So that's the comparison between supply and demand. The other thing is that, as you know, the government printed a ton of money out of air. So they printed trillions of dollars and they influxed that money into the economy, which means that a lot of people, they have more money. And to the point that people actually decided to quit their job because they were making more money by getting the government funding and the money from the government than at their actual jobs. So again, there's a lot more money circulating around. Now, the other thing is what needs to happen. So the ideal in order to avoid inflation is that we either need to reduce the demand or we need to increase the supply. And it would be best if both happens at the same time. We actually have the capacity for that to happen, right? But we definitely can see that it's not going to happen. So what will happen is that we will need a reduction in the demand, and this is why the federal government is rapidly increasing the rates. They were planning to increase the rates between 0.25%, 0.5%, but now they're increasing the rates at a much rapid rate. And most recently, they even said that they are willing to tank the economy if it's necessary in order to reduce the demand. So if the economy tanks, you can imagine what's going to happen, right? So by raising the interest rates, they will have less purchasing power, or people will have less purchasing power. So for example, people that were able to qualify for a $300,000 home, now with the interest rate being 5%, they no longer qualify for that. Therefore, a lot of people automatically has been cut from that possibility of becoming a homeowner. Also, the rents have been raised, right? Rents are higher now, which means that a lot of people are not going to be able to afford certain places in order to be able to live. So all of that is going to cause for the economy to tank. Now, what might happen? Well, what might happen is what is already happening. As I mentioned before, there are 11 millions of job openings in the United States, right? There were. Now, what's going to happen is that unemployment is going to start rising. And why is that? Well, because when the demand declines, the business spending money decreases. So what do that means? Like businesses are going to be unable to spend more money. Therefore, they are going to start laying off, and that is going to make the job market to slow down as well. So again, and this has already started, especially now with the increasing on the rates and the interest rate. Less people qualify to refinance a home. There's no benefit for them to refinance, or they can no longer purchase a home. And this is causing a lot of mortgage companies like Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, as well as even companies to close. Like mortgage companies has already closed and laid off thousands of people. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, they have already laid off thousands of people in the mortgage division. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen exactly what happened in 2008, but it's going to happen. And I'll tell you right now, when I was at that time, I was in the mortgage industry. And at that time, I didn't understand what was happening in the market. I thought that that train where I was on, it was going to continue forever, right? But that didn't happen. So I'm going to tell you right now who will be affected for this. Who will be affected, especially when it comes to inflation. Everybody's going to be affected, but especially the middle class. The middle class is going to be affected the most, because now they either have to move up to the upper class, or they're going to move down to the poverty class. Why is that? Because their savings are going to be depleted. The second thing is that it has reduced their spending power, so they're not going to be able to spend as much. And the third thing is the mental and emotional state, which will be deteriorated. And I'll tell you that because that happened back in 2008, right? Now, let me see here. So how can we protect ourselves from inflation? Well, I will give you 6 steps right now. Obviously, there are a lot more. And again, there's no way that I can tell you everything in just this recording. But the first thing that we need to do is we have to review and take a look at our financial habits. Where is our money going right now? Do we actually think that this train is going to continue and that tomorrow we're going to have the same paycheck? And I hate to say it, but like a lot of people think that way. A lot of people think that, like I'm just going to buy it right now because tomorrow I will get that paycheck. And unfortunately, that's not going to be the case for thousands and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands maybe. So again, you want to take a look at your financial habits right now. The second thing that I suggest is that you create a plan to pay off your debt. So the reason for that is that I want you to make that plan, right, to pay off your debt. So you know exactly how much you're going to put into your debt and when is your debt is going to be paid off and how much you will be saving on interest. Why is that? Because I want you to stop focusing on your debt and I want you to start focusing on money making activities and the opportunities that are going to come up now. Okay, so that's the second thing. The third thing is you want to find your gap. And what does that mean? Well, what it means is you want to find the places where your money is going that it doesn't really need to go there. So I know that a lot of people say, well, I like my coffee, I like my latte, and I'm going to have it. I don't care, which is fine. If you love that, that is fine, and just keep doing it. But find other places where else you are spending money that you don't really care much about, or that you can actually use that money to increase and grow your money. Let me ask you this: do you even know that you can actually become a millionaire by saving $35 a week? If you want to learn more how to do that, just hit me up, because again, I can teach you how. And you want to set up financial goals. You want to be clear about your financial goals, and you want to set up those financial goals. The other thing is that I suggest is that you want to track your income and expenses, and you want to calculate your net worth. So when you calculate your income or your savings, investments, etc., and then you compare it to your debt and liabilities, what is your net worth? Is it positive? Is it negative? If it's negative, you want to find ways to get that net worth up, to get that net worth in the positive. The other thing is that you want to live within your means. Why would you spend more money than you make? If you make $10,000, why would you spend 11? Why would you spend 15,000? Right? So you want to make sure that if you make $10,000, you're gonna spend less. And of course, you want to save a big portion of that money, or put it in places that will help you grow your money. So fund your emergency fund. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Obviously, there are a lot of ways that you can do that. One of my favorite ways to fund my emergency fund is through ETFs, because I'm actually have accessible money, but at the same time, the money is working for me, even while I sleep, right? My money keep growing. And then the last thing to protect yourself from inflation is that you want to increase your sources of income. You don't want to just depend on a job. You don't want your income just come from one place. You want your income to come from multiple sources or multiple ways. And if it's passive, even better. Okay. Now, there is so much more, as I mentioned before, and I'm going to tell you probably one of the most important things that you need to know about you, your life, yourself, etc. And it's this: is your financial freedom number. Do you know your financial freedom number? If you don't know where you're going, you're gonna end up somewhere else. This is why when we are going from point A to point B, we start our maps, right? We start our GPS, because the GPS is gonna tell us all the turns and all the roads that we need to take in order to get to where our point B is. But if we don't know where we're going, we are going to end up somewhere else. And that's why it's so important for you to know your financial freedom number. The financial freedom number is the amount of money plus the interest that you will need in order to cover your expenses and also fund your lifestyle, right? Because you don't want to just get by. A lot of people, unfortunately, they just plan for just enough, right? They plan to live from Social Security, pension, retirement, etc., but they forget to plan to keep their lifestyle or improve their lifestyle, even like to travel or enjoy certain things, or even keeping enjoying the things that they have right now. Okay. So that is what the financial freedom number is. And if you don't know what your financial freedom number is and you want to learn what your financial freedom number is, then make sure to send me an email, to reply to the email that I send you, or make sure to send me a message with your email address. All right. So what are other concerns that people have when it comes to this, when it comes to inflation? Well, one of the things is that they wonder if they are taking too much risk in their investments, right? At the moment, we are living in a bear market, and we started. on that, right? We're no longer in a bull market where everybody and their mother, even the monkeys, were making money. We are entering in a different stage right now. You have to be savvy about where you put your money and how you create your investment, right? How you invest. So if you were making money in crypto, for example, and you're like, wow, I know how to make money, but now Bitcoin went from $60,000 to $20,000, right? And you don't know how you can make money in the downfall of that crypto, then your risk is much higher, right? So you need to, if that's where you want to focus on, then you need to learn about that. Not only that, but you probably want to find investments that are less risky, that will help you to make more money, but that you don't lose the money in the market. The other concern is that not being able to weather another market correction or recession. So for the people that were affected back in 2008, they might be scared. They might remember. They might have PTSD, right? As I mentioned to you, I was there. I didn't know. I have no idea what was going on, but I learned, right? It was a hard lesson to learn. And so now is the time to get prepared for that market correction, to get prepared for that recession. The third thing is you want to learn how to minimize your tax liabilities. And a lot of people are wondering, should I withdraw my money from tax deferred accounts? I'll tell you this, a lot of people did, right? The IRS says, oh yeah, we're going to allow you to take your money, withdraw money from your tax deferred investment during COVID, so you can actually use that money to support yourself. What they were not counting on is that the IRS was going to knock on their door and say, okay, you have to pay me for the taxes for that money that you took out. Oh, and you didn't put it in your tax returns. You didn't declare in your tax return. Well, now you're going to get penalized for that too. So again, we need to understand how taxes work. And also, it's possible you want to put your money on tax-free investment. That way you don't even have to worry about that. So you only pay taxes on what you deposit, but you don't have to pay taxes on the growth of your money. The fourth one is not having a real financial plan. So again, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up somewhere else. But if you don't even have clarity of how that financial plan look like, or how I can even build a financial plan, then yeah, you want to talk to me, right? Number 5, not having the proper protection for your assets and your loved one. If you don't know how to protect your assets, or if you don't know how to protect the growth of your money to leave a legacy to your loved ones, right? That can be a huge concern right now during inflation. And the last one is running out of money before you die. So yeah, that's a real concern. A lot of people are afraid to running out of money these days. So if you have any of these concerns, if you don't know what your financial freedom number is, if you have not taken the step that I have mentioned already, make sure to contact me. I have 10 spots available. So if you want to talk to me, make sure to put your name on the comments and send me a DM with your email address, or reply to the email that I send you. And any other questions that you may have, please make sure to reach out. Again, I have space for the first 10 people, so make sure to contact me as soon as possible. So for now, this is it. If you guys have any additional questions regarding inflation, regarding how to create a financial plan, make sure to reach out to me. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope that I was able to bring you a ton of value. So again, my name is Sarah Xavier, creator and founder of Finance Babe. Until the next one.